everyone. It's February the 13th, 2017. You're tuned to another episode of Waking Up with Danny. How's everybody doing? If you could be anywhere right now, where would it be? And what would you be doing? Think about that as you start your week. You know, your mind is a powerful thing. When you fill it with positive thoughts, your life will start to change. Yo, got a heck of a show ahead, but first, sometimes we mess up the facts, but we own it on corrections. Waking up with Danny. Waking up with Danny, we get it wrong, and when we do, we own up to it. Last week, I forgot to credit this short story. It was Mark and Angel Chernoff. And the story was called The Weight of Glass. Hope you liked that one. We got another one coming up today. But first, let's get on to what's happening in the world. News, headlines and things. It's time for the news. What does it all mean? News, headlines around the world. It's time for the news. Waking up with Danny. News. Well, at least 188,000 people have evacuated from several Northern California counties after damage to a spillway at the Oroville Dam. The dam, which is the nation's tallest, remains intact, but the emergency spillway, which guards against the overflow of the dam when water levels are high, was eroding Sunday. The damage prompted a mandatory evacuation for cities and counties near Lake Oroville. In the worst-case scenario, one official said, an uncontrolled release from the dam could send a 30-foot waterfall of water downstream. Yeah, and Michael Flynn has no plans to resign and no expectations that he will be fired, a senior administration official told us on Sunday. That's despite a turbulent 72 hours caused by the National Security Advisor's inability to deny that he spoke about sanctions against Russia with the Russian ambassador before President Donald Trump took office. It's time for the weather. It's time for the weather. Forecast, are you ready for the weather? Yes, Storm Orson is blasting parts of New England in the face with an orgy of heavy snow and high winds from this intensifying storm that may trigger numerous power outages up and down the East Coast. This is the second round of heavy snow and high winds in less than a week for parts of New England following on the heels of Winter Storm Nico. Zooming out a bit, we got 43 in Cutbank, 41 in Boise, Rapid City at 53, Kansas City at 49, St. Louis, 50 degrees, Chicago, 46, San Francisco, California, 59, Atlanta, Georgia, 63, Charlotte, North Carolina at 62, Washington, D.C. at 44 degrees, Miami, Florida, home of the heat, 80 degrees, in Brownsville, Texas is at 82 degrees, Billings at 49, and Caribou, Maine is chilling 23 degrees.
Stop for traffic, see what's going on. It's time for traffic on Waking Up with Danny.
Most major roads and interstates heading into major cities this morning in rush hour traffic is typically high at this point of the day, and today is no exception, as traffic moving into the metropolitan areas seems to be rather sticky countrywide. Rural areas, on the other hand, seem to be flowing rather normally, so if you're driving in those rural areas, enjoy the empty roads. If you're heading into metropolitan areas, yeah, just watch out for some congestion going into the workplace this morning. The stock market, the Dow, the indexes, money's and money's and matters, money's and matters and money's and matters and money's and matters. Where are your investments today? Let's track your stocks. Let's track your stocks. Let's track your stocks. Let's track your stocks. Mutual funds and lots of other things. Waking up with Danny. Waking up with Danny. Money, stocks, investments, and mutual funds. Money, stocks, investments, and mutual funds. Waking up with Danny. Britain is likely to face some economic disruption and worse trading terms if it loses access to the European single market when it leaves the EU in 2019, the bloc's financial services chief said on Friday. Valdis Dombrovskis, who is also vice president of the European Commission, said, quote, lots of time and energy, end quote, would be spent on negotiating new trading terms if British Prime Minister Theresa May pressed ahead with a so-called, quote-unquote, hard Brexit plan to leave the single market. Today in history, a lot of things have happened. Maybe a man flew to the moon. Maybe a baby was saved by a baboon. We'll get to the bottom of this and much, much more on Today in History on Waking Up with Danny. It's Today in History on Waking Up with Danny. On 2011, on this day in Iran, opposition leaders plan a nationwide anti-government rally in an attempt to replicate the success of the 2011 Egyptian Revolution. In the year 2000, there was the U.S. Male Figure Skating Championship. No more details on that. In 1993, Merlene Ottey runs a world record 200-meter indoor at 21.87 seconds. In 1977, Robert Bridegroom closes the Biltmore Theater in New York City after 145 performances. 1974, good old Rainbow Jones opens and closes at the Music Box Theater in New York City. In 1907, English suffragettes storm British Parliament and 60 women are arrested. In 1899, we set an all-time cold temperature record in Tallahassee, Florida at negative 2 degrees Fahrenheit. In 1895, the moving picture projector was patented. And in 1130, Gregorio de Paparecci was elected as Pope Innocent II. Births and deaths. People were born and died today. We're gonna talk about it. Waking up with
with Danny, talking about life and death.
Well, in 1980, Christy Powell of Florida, she was a gymnast in the 1996 Olympics, where she was born. In 1960, Kelly McCormick, Anaheim, California, she was a diver in the 1984 Olympics. She won a silver, also was born. In 1956, Peter Hook, an English rock bassist for New Order, made his way into the earth. In 1944, old Jerry Springer was born in London, England. He's a talk show host, of course, of the Jerry Springer Show. In 1933, Konstantinos Gavras was born in Greece, known as Kostas Gravas, a French filmmaker. He created political-themed films, known for his fast-paced thriller titled Z, of course, and first film titled Missing in 1982. In 1926, Barney Childs, a composer, was born. And in 1913, Arthur Carlton Hetherington, a public servant, he was born in 1913, and many others were as well. In 1859, Frank van de Goes, a Dutch writer and Marxist theorist, was also born. And in 1778, Fernando Sor, composer, also was born. Oh, one more. In 1440, Hartmann Schredel, a German physician, he was a humanist and a historian. He was born in 1440. But people also died. In 1995, William Bogey Gaynor, saxophonist, he died at 68. 1966, Elio Vittorini, he was a writer, dies. 1959, William L. Axt, a composer, died at 70 years old. In 1891, David Dixon Porter, U.S. Rear Admiral of the Union, dies at 77 years old. At 1849, Christian Rummel, a composer, died at 61. In 1883, Richard Wagner died. He was a German composer, died at 69 years old in Venice. In 1724, Francisco Jose Cortunjo, who was a composer, dies at 43. And in 1315, Jean I of Chalon-Hagré, mayor of Neuchâtel, also dies. And in 1130, Honorius II Lamberto, pope from 1124 to 1130, also dies.
Time for the quote.
We're all going to die, all of us. What a circus! That alone should make us love each other, but it doesn't. We are terrorized and flattened by trivialities. We are eaten up by nothing. Charles Bukowski said this, and the word of the day, to bork. It's a verb. All right, perverts, let's settle down. To systematically attack a nominee or candidate for public office. Some etymology after Robert Bork, lived 1927 to 2012, whose nomination for the U.S. Supreme Court was rejected in 1987 after extensive publicity by various groups exposed his extreme views, such as his support for a poll tax. The earliest documented use was 1987. Some usage, the borking, of Clarence Thomas, that followed nearly kept him from being confirmed. The SCOTUS lies in videotape from the Examiner, Washington, D.C., February 24th, 2016. And a bonus thought for the day, the crucial disadvantage of aggression, competitiveness, and skepticism as national characteristics is that these qualities cannot be turned off at 5 o'clock. Margaret Halsey said this. She was a novelist, and she was born on February the 13th, 1910, and died in 1997.
And you know you gotta learn something today. Make your life better. The more you know, the more you know. You'll make your life better. And you know you gotta learn something today. You make your life better. And the more you know, the more you know. You'll make your life better. Today I learned. You'll make your life better. Today I learned. You'll make your life better. Today I learned. The more you know, the more you know. Today I learned. I'm waking up with Danny.
Today I learned that millennials are having way less sex than their parents and are twice as likely as the previous generation to be virgins.
Every day is born a new hero.
faces adversary with a mighty sword. Will he live? Will he die? We don't know. We'll leave it in the hands of the story. Short stories on Waking Up with Danny. Short stories on Waking Up with Danny. They're the opposite of long stories. They're actually quite short in length. They're short stories on Waking Up with Danny. Not long but short the stories are. Not long but short the stories are. The hero fighting against the dark forces of the forest. Waking up with waking up, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking up, waking up, I am Danny on the short story. Short stories with Danny. On a mango tree in a jungle, there lived many birds. They were happy in their small nests. Before the onset of the rainy season, all the animals of the jungle repaired their homes. The birds also made their homes more secure. Many birds thought twigs and leaves, and others wove their nests. "We should also store some food for our children," chirped one of the birds. And they collected food until they had enough to see them through the rainy season. This kept themselves busy preparing for the tough times. Soon the rains came. It was followed by thunder and lightning. All the animals and birds stayed in their homes. It continued raining for many days. One day, a monkey, wet in the rain, came into the forest. He sat on a branch, shivering with cold, water dripping from its body. The poor monkey tried his best to get shelter, but in vain. The leaves were not enough to save him from the rains. "Brr, it's so cold," said the monkey. The birds were watching all of this. They felt sorry for the monkey, but there was little they could do for him. One of them said, "Brother, our small nests are not enough to give you shelter." Another bird said, "All of us prepared for the rainy season. If you had, you would not be in this piteous situation." "How dare you tell me what to do?" said the monkey, growling at the bird. The monkey angrily pounced on the bird's nest, tore it and threw it to the ground. The bird and her chicks were helpless. The poor bird thought, "Fools never value good advice. It's better not to advise them." That was Advising a Fool, the author unknown. And that's going to do it for this episode of Waking Up with Danny. Join me next week. Do it all over again. Waking up with